The number of things we could have done tonight, but chose not to, is almost as extensive, probably more extensive than the list of things that we are doing. This body unfortunately voted down funding the state's working families tax credit for the first time in state history, and funding it at double the statutory amount this year at a time when Washingtonians need it more than ever. We voted down funding additional rental assistance. We heard testimony in committee that the unmet need for rental assistance is at least $100 million a month. This bill will only get us through the next 3 months. Based on what the governor and other public health officials have said, as much as I hate to admit this to my family and my constituents, it appears that it will take longer than 3 months for us to fully recover. Yet the bill before us only provides 3 months of rental assistance. We could have provided funds to families whose children are on free and reduced price lunch to help them address the cost of remote learning that they did not expect, plan for, or budget for, and probably cannot afford. We could have spent more money to child care centers to provide much needed capacity and affordability for the children we represent. And we could have provided, as was promised on this floor just 3 days ago, additional assistance to small businesses in the form of unemployment tax relief. So, Mr. Speaker, I deeply appreciate the good that this bill will do, but unfortunately, with such an opportunity before us, that opportunity cost of what we've omitted to do is too high for me to justify it with a yes vote.
We had an opportunity tonight to do what the people need us to do, and that is do more. Do more for rental assistance, do more for education, do more for the child care providers in the state of Washington.
Will this bill help? Maybe yes. Will it lift families out of poverty? Not enough. Will it save businesses? Not enough. Will it help rebuild our communities? Not enough. You know, I came to Olympia to follow through in my commitment to my family, neighbors, and district, to fight for them, fight for their opportunities to be successful and to make a difference. I didn't come to Olympia for not enough.
This is about economic development. This is about saving our small businesses. This is also about when do you use your rainy day fund.
We've got to move away, Mr. Speaker, from this half measure, half measure, half measure. We've got to take bolder steps, bigger steps sooner. The resources in our rainy day fund are there waiting to be used. We should have used them now. For that reason, because of the opportunity cost I worry is being squandered here, I'm going to vote no and recommend a no vote.
You know, we have a responsibility to do better. The people in my district that I've been hearing from they don't want to hear it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. They need it. They need it right now. There are certainly things that we can work on moving forward, but I'm saying today that I would have loved to have been able to vote for this. I would have loved to be able to connect with them and tell them, you know, we've done all of these wonderful things to make this bill even better. But this falls very, very short.
Mr. Speaker, the gentleman from the 3rd District mentioned that he was pleased to see that both members on both sides of the aisle agree that investments by government are a good thing. And he's right. But the emphasis is on the preposition by, investments by government, not investments in government. Too many of the discretionary items in this bill are simply investments in government, continuing the status quo, continuing to sprinkle money, peanut butter money across programs that aren't a bad idea, but aren't the best way to put money in the people's pocket. And Mr. Speaker, that is what the amendments that were rejected would have done. Yes, they would have been investments by government, but they would not have been investments in government. They would have been investments in the people, in the great people of Washington.
The good gentleman from the 31st and the colleagues with whom he collaborated are still ready to help, because this isn't about us. This isn't about elected officials. It isn't about this caucus or that caucus or this chamber versus the other chamber. This is about all of our friends and neighbors that find themselves in the grip of history in a way that no one ever dreamed that they would. So after this vote tonight, Let's just go forward. Look at these ideas. Look at the assets that we as a state have that came to us from the taxpayers. Let's find the best way to use those. And let's fix the problems that we have in the way that people expect us to and provide the greatest example that we're capable of giving.